When the House rose last evening, I was in the midst of an argument concerning the propriety of exempting government companies from provisions of company law. I wish to make it clear that where government owns 100% of the shares in a company, obviously many of the rules applicable to ordinary companies cannot be applied. Indeed, the well-known authority on modern company law summarized the positions thus. It will be appreciated that the absence of shares and shareholders automatically render large and important branches of company law totally inapplicable. Rules relating to the raising, the maintenance of share capitals, the control of directors by members, protecting the minority shareholders, company meetings, and the like, they have no relevance. As we have said earlier, the knotty problem of the relationship between the government and the member of is solved by the abolition of the latter. But the approach of our joint committee is this problem is difficult to appreciate. Government companies are put in a peculiarly privileged position. Last night I happened to peruse the minutes of the 14th meeting of the joint committee, which considered the question. The recommendations submitted by the finance ministry missed the point. There has been exemptions suggested for certain types of companies, but I do not think that any purpose will be served by having any of the government companies other than those in which government has 100% shares brought within the purview of the exemption clause at all. We have to bear in mind that a government company in which 51% of the shares are held by the government is not a company which is the exclusive property of the government. It is one of which the government has a technical majority holding of the shares, and in theory the government, according to the provisions of the bill, is given powers to revoke all the safeguards provided in the company's bill. Let me read out briefly the particular section which covers these exemptions. I want to ask only a few questions of those who have taken a prominent part in the deliberations of the joint committee. What is the task you seek to achieve by granting such an exemption? The government can, if it deems necessary, cheerfully decide one fine morning to exceed the overall limit of the marginal remuneration laid down in clause 190. Of course, such a dispensation will be said to be in the national interest, and we would then have to reconcile ourselves to this change. Under clause 234, government has to entertain complaints from shareholders, but exemption from this position can be made. Government companies, after all, are run by people of virtue. How can we ever entertain any complaint against government directions? Indeed, the blanket power has been given confers on the executive full and competent authority to dispense with any or all the provisions of the Companies Act, exempt two provisions to which specific reference is made. Of course, the argument would be to put forward that our government would not be unreasonable, that is, it will be exercise these powers. I fail to understand the validity of this argument. If you do not choose to exercise these powers, then why should Parliament give these powers to people who might not use them at some future date? After all, a statute is in existence until it is amended, and at any moment changes can occur. Someday a fresh finance minister might come to this house and dispense with all these elaborate safeguards which are meant to protect the interest of the shareholders. I think it is morally unjust and constitutional improper to confer these blanket powers on government. Have the legal consequences of such powers been examined? I have great doubts whether this particular provision is in conformity with the Article 14 of our Constitution. We have, after all, a written constitution which assures equal protection under law. On what ground of legally can be distinguished between shareholders in the government company and shareholders in the private company? I believe the court would have something to say on this classification of categories which has been attempted by the joint committee. How can we strip them to these rights? The shareholders have already been stripped of their virtues by the government, which does not trust them, and now we are called upon to deprive them of their rights in government companies, even in a corporation, state corporation. Although it is true that shareholders have limited rights where an infringement of the statutory power by the corporation occurs or where there is an infringement of right, the aggrieved and individual have a right to go to courts of law under this particular provision. If it is held to be valid, it will mean that the government, if it wants, we can deprive shareholders of all the rights. It is in the fitness of things that the shareholders should be given a fair deal in future.